All right, here we go. So at the top of our paper is going to be at the top of your paper, this is 4.5. If you want to know what it is, it's called complex fractions. All a complex fraction is a fraction over a fraction. So it's multiple fractions. Can y'all see that back there? I need to change to pin. Okay. So example number 1, if you're looking at your paper, it's not what's on there. We're changing example number 1. Okay. So you need to write this down. Example number 1 will say 1 over x minus 1 over 4 all over 1/2 minus x over 8. So this is a complex fraction, fractions over fractions, but I'm going to teach it to you where it's going to be super simple to read and understand, okay? So what I like to do is I like to rewrite my numerator and my denominator to the side. So my numerator is just 1 over x minus 1 over 4. That's my numerator. My denominator is 1 over 2 minus x over 8. So now I've taken one problem and I've made it into 2 problems, okay? So we're going to treat these separately and then we're going to bring them back together. So 1x minus 1/4, can I actually subtract those? No, why? They're not the same denominator, so they have to have the same denominator. So just like yesterday, we have to find a common denominator. If I have an x and I have a 4, what will my common denominator be? 4x. So just like yesterday, I already had an x. I added a 4 in the denominator, so I'm going to have to put a 4 in my numerator. Same thing on this side. I already had a 4 in my denominator. The new piece is an x, so it will be in my numerator. Now, do I have a common denominator? So I can write it as one new fraction, 4 minus x all over 4x. So now let's go do the denominator side. I have a 1/2 minus x over 8. What will my new denominator be? 8. 8 will be my new denominator. So what does it take to get from 2 to 8? I had to times 4, so I have to multiply the top by 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. And then 8 to 8 stays the same, so that stays the same. This is just coincidence right now that they are exactly the same. It's not always going to say that, okay? So I have 2 new fractions. When I see this big fraction line, that truly means that I'm dividing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the top and I'm dividing by the bottom. So now I have my first fraction and I'm dividing by my second fraction. How do I actually divide by fractions? You keep, you change, you flip. So I have 4 minus x over 4x. Division becomes multiplication. And I flip the second fraction, 8 over 4 minus x. Now what do you notice can happen? I can cancel. My 4 minus x's can cancel. I can either do more canceling right now or I can cancel at the end. So I have 8 over 4x. What is 8 divided by 4? Where does it go? On the top. So my final answer would be 2 over x. Okay. Questions? Okay, let's go do number 2 together then. So number 2 says 1 plus 1 over x all over 1 minus 1 over x. So I'm going to make them separate. How do I write 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1 plus 1 over x. And then my denominator is 1 over 1 minus 1 over x. So I have a 1 and an x, so my new denominator should be just an x. In order to keep it a 1 over 1, it has to be an x over x. And then the second part just stays the same. There we go. Okay. All right, so then I do my second set of fractions, and it looks like the denominator will be the same thing in x. So I have x over x minus 1 over x. So when I simplify, I have x plus 1 over x divided, because that's my big fraction, by x minus 1 over x. And then I can keep, change to multiplication, and flip. What do I notice can happen here? My x's can cancel. So I have x plus 1 over x minus 1. Can those x's cancel? Why? They're connected with a plus or a minus sign. Very good. Questions? Number 3 looks very, very similar. I'll let you get started on your own, and I'll work it out up here just in case you need to follow along. Oops, there we go. Hopefully we get the same thing. Questions? Yeah. All right, so on your packet, since I changed example number 1, there's one problem on your packet we need to change. So everybody on your packet, go look at number 4. And I'll write it bigger so that you can see it. Number 4 needs to be changed to this: 1 over x minus 1/3 all over 1 over 4 minus x over 12. We didn't teach you the ones with 2 letters in there. Okay. As of right now, your test is still scheduled for Wednesday. So make sure that you are